Good afternoon everyone, welcome to Janderra. I'm Gerwin and let's do a midwinter garden tour in sunny Queensland in Australia. So yeah, it's the end of July, so let's see how everything's going. So my mystery tree, which I'm still not 100% certain what it is, but I think it's a Mandalime, is starting to drop fruit. So let's collect some of that. So we've got a fair bit of fruit that's been dropping. And Wild Edibles over there has been doing a lovely job guarding these trees. Oh, what's that, Wild? Oh, you've just got some new chickens at your place. Oh, and you want to go over to the chicken coop? Okay, we'll take you over there. Okay, so we're going to take Wild over to the chicken coop. So see, I think she's getting a bit lonely out here in the wild. It's a funny place for one to be sitting, isn't it? Oh, we're going to be careful not to get spiked. So there's still a few more up there, but we'll have to weigh in those fruit. So yeah, let's check the rest of the garden. Okay, checking on the potatoes, and we've got, who have we got down here? Oh, see, Simply Jan's Homestead was down here before, but she's actually traded place with Cosmic Cultivators. Is that you, Gina? Okay, so this is Gina from Cosmic Cultivators. She's going to be keeping an eye on my potatoes. They've got a lovely little channel where they grow all sorts of things. And she's another one of my Shed Warrior friends. So this is my potato patch that we basically planted in hay back on the 8th of June. So it's the 25th of July now. So it's nearly 2 months. But yeah, it's doing really, really well. The little, the elderberry cutting I stuck in there has died. But that's not a huge drama because I've got heaps of other elderberries. So yeah. And my papayas seem to be doing well. Let's have a closer look. I've got this plastic up and all these hay here to protect my red papaya and my moringa tree a bit from the weather that we've been having. There's a lot of wind, but we also occasionally get frosts in winter. I think we've only had one so far this year, but you just never know, and sometimes we get a black frost as well. But so yes, the red papaya seem to be doing fantastically. They're not producing any fruit yet, but I am starting to get some flowers happening. My Comfrey down there is doing really well. That's the one that I propagated a while ago now. I'll check on that and I'll get back to you on what later in the video. But yeah, so this red papaya is doing really well. It has not been killed off by the frost, which is fantastic. It's not producing any fruit yet, but I'm not worried about that. My nasturtium down here is doing well. So yeah, really pleased with that. It's doing, this one over here is doing even better. It's actually starting to flower, which is great. I do actually have a tomato plant in there. I can't remember what variety that one is. And I've got a sweet potato growing up the chicken coop. So yes, my basil's just about completely died off here. That's one of my elderberry cuttings. It's doing okay still. And my moringa is getting blown to bits. So I'm actually thinking I should probably put up some more hay or something like that just to give it a little bit more protection. But yes, it's still alive. It hasn't dropped all its leaves, which is a surprise because it's supposed to be a deciduous tree. But let's have a look what else is going on around here. My Madagascar bean still has not flowered, still no fruit. It's not liking the cold weather. It's also not liking not getting much sun. So it gets very shaded from these gum trees. So I think this was definitely not a good place to put it. So I'm going to come up with another spot to put my little Madagascar bean. And I got that Madagascar bean from Andy over at McDowell Manor. My tansy and rue have pretty much died back. Comfrey's doing okay. I've chopped and dropped it a few times. See, it's the Pella's still doing well, although it's being eaten by something, but it's not dead. So yeah, but I've got heaps of Pella around the place. The olive tree's looking okay. I really need to get it in the ground. The think it's a Brazilian nut. I'm not sure, but it's not looking very happy. I probably haven't watered it enough, and my agapanthus has nearly all died. Oh dear. Some exciting stuff in the garden. My mulberry trees are starting to get new leaves on them, and some of them are actually starting to fruit. So they're starting to flower. Yep. Starting to flower, which is lovely. And we got Jason Avers down there guarding the trees nicely. This little moringa's not doing well. I really need to get these into dirt. That little mulberry's doing well down there, so doing really good. Really pleased about that. And then we've got the little garden down the side here. I've been really happy with this. This has done fantastically. I mean, it's really protected over here. My dragon fruit that I stuck in the pot after the goats dug it up is getting some new shoots. My rosemary's doing well. This little area gets a fair bit of sun in summer. See, my lemon balm isn't doing great, but it's not dead. My oregano is starting to come back nicely. I've still got some parsley here. Some lycium is doing really, really well. And I've got some of my common garden mint is coming back. I thought it had died off. This is doing really well. My Monstera Delicio. It's doing quite well. I'm really pleased with it. Lemongrass is still doing well. As is my lavender. I should be able to propagate some of this soon. That's just a geranium. And this is a citronella. So citronella is really great for deterring mosquitoes. My gerbera down here. It's not a very exciting looking gerbera. But, And I got a bit of wormwood down there too. Because this is where I milk the goats. Which I'm going to be doing very shortly. So that's why I've got the wormwood there. Because the goats, wormwood's really good as an anti-parasite. But it's also why I've got the lemongrass and other smelly herbs here to try and deter mosquitoes. But let's check some of the other spots in the garden. So my Roma tomato is doing really well. Now, what's been going on here? Can you give us any clues? So this is Cajun Hydroponics. This is Danny. He grows a lot of hydroponic tomatoes. And he's another one of my team members in Team Aquarius. So yeah, he grows his tomatoes hydroponically. So he's been keeping an eye on my Roma tomatoes. And if you haven't heard about SHEDWARS, it's basically the world's largest gardening collaboration. There's like well over 100 channels involved. See, tomatoes don't like frost. So I've actually been, on nights when I know that it's going to frost, I've been putting some greenhouse plastic around it just to give it that little bit of insulation. And it seems to be doing okay. Yeah, this is a Roma tomato. I have harvested a few tomatoes off here and they are just so yummy. Beautifully tasty. My sweet potatoes doing well down there. It's a purple basil. It's not happy because of the cold, but it looks like I should have got some seeds out of that. So it should come up come spring. There's a borage that I've only recently planted in there. So it's doing really, really well. Oh, this is the pineapple that I planted from a pineapple top during SHEDWARS season for the Southern Hemisphere. So yeah. Oh, and some of my tomatoes are starting to ripen. Now, the brown marks on here is because it's been rubbing up against this bit of wood. Or a bit of stump. Not good for your tomatoes, but they still taste yummy. But hopefully I'll have some more tomatoes come soon. They'll be ready to harvest. My poor little pigeon pea. It's been doing a great job as a nitrogen fixer because the goats keep chomping on it whenever they wander past it. And they come through here when I milk them. So yes, let's check what else is going on. You see a little Z down there. They're also fellow team members in Team Aquarius. And they're guarding my sweet potato, my comfrey, and my passion fruit vine, which is doing really, really well. Really pleased with it. It's doing fantastically, especially compared to the other passion fruit vines that are still not in the ground yet. So going into the ground has really helped it. It's a really good idea. So let's go check on the chickens. Here are some of my chickens, and there's Gail from Gail Southern Living. She's actually Niecy's sister-in-law. Niecy was over there. So yeah, so Gail, I can't put you here because Gail's here guarding this side of the chickens. We might put you with one of the other tractors. So yes, so I've got my elderberry, a couple of elderberry bushes here, which I will be using for propagating material at some point when I'm ready. And my gerbers, isn't it pretty? Very pretty, a pretty gerbera. Although the stems aren't getting very long, which is interesting. So if you have a clue why that's happening, I'd love to know. That comfrey's not doing great, but I think it's because the guinea fowl keeps trampling all over it. So yes, there's my chickens, they're doing well. There's Jonathan's chickens. I should be ready to turn this into a garden bed area soon, which will be exciting. I've got all sorts of ideas and plans on that one. There's the guinea fowl that's been trampling my comfrey. Oh, wild, yeah, the baby goats are here. You want to be with the baby goats and the chickens. So you can be here with Matthews. I'm not going to put you too close or the baby goats are going to try and eat you. See if they're trying to eat you. They don't really know what to make of this thing. It's like, what is that? Can I eat it? So we might pop you over here, Wild. So Wild can be here and she's going to mind Matthew's chickens. And she gets to play with the baby goats. The baby goats. This is Nettie and this is Bruce. They're in the middle of being weaned at the moment. And Bruce has just nipped me. Bruce, that is naughty. So yes, he's got sharp teeth. But yeah, these little guys are just over 3 months old. And they're not real happy about being in here. And Nettie keeps getting her head through the bars. She's a bit of a sneaky one, but she can get back through. At least she can at the moment. Hopefully she doesn't get herself stuck. And there's their mum, Laura. And there's Marbella. She's doing well. I dried Marbella off a couple of months ago. And then we got Mary, who I'm about to milk very shortly. I've still got to set up a new goat fence for them so that they're on fresh grass again. They've been on there for a little bit too long. But that way, that is actually going to be a laneway over to fresh paddocks anyway. I've just got to set them up. But not today. And here's Robert, my team captain for Team Aquarius from Homestead Aquarius. He's guarding all my strawberry plants, which are doing really, really well. There's my German chamomile. And I got a couple of raspberry canes in there that I've planted recently and a macadamia nut. That's not doing very well. These strawberries are suffering a little bit being blown around by the wind, but they're doing really well. Really pleased with that, although it looks like I did have one that hasn't survived. I gave the dill a really big haircut the other day, so it's getting some nice new growth on it, which is fantastic. More strawberries. And look, my irises are starting to come up. Very exciting. Irises are starting to come up. Come spring I should have some lovely plants. And that's one of my comfrey plants from that original comfrey cutting that I did over there. I originally did those comfrey cuttings on the 30th of April, so that's nearly 3 months ago. And those cuttings are doing really well. I did some more about a week ago and they haven't made so much progress yet, but these mulberries are doing fantastic. And who have we got here? Oh, he's quiet today. Oh, too much super fast mode. Yeah, Michael's gone quiet. So that's Michael from Frogfoot Hollar, and he's just had some Warrigal Greens pop up as part of his secret seed challenge. I think it was the big Blue Homestead sent him over some Warrigal Green seeds as part of his secret seed challenge. So yes, so really kind of cool that I've got Michael from Frogfoot Hollar right next to the Warrigal Greens. So yes, we also call them New Zealand spinach or New Zealand greens. But yeah, so that's Michael from Frogfoot Hollar. Now my daffodils haven't come up yet, but my irises are definitely starting to come up, which I'm really excited about. These strawberries are doing well. Another blueberry down there, which is also doing well. And these are the boys. This is the, and this was my attempt at grafting after my tree broke over. It failed. I think I've lost the entire tree, which is sad. But yeah, so these are all Jonathan's plants that he's grown from seeds. He's grown lots of little plants from seeds, which is fantastic, and they've got more going. But these are the ones that he propagated the other day. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 plants that he's grown from seeds so far, and that he's potted up. So he has got some more up there doing some stuff, and there's more other seeds happening. So need to put cover back on that one. It looks like it might need some more water, but the boys will have to do that. So this is Jonathan's little section. Looks like he's got some strawberries here. I'll have to tell him about that one. He hasn't noticed it yet. And this is Matthew's section. He's got some plants that he's potted up as well, and they're a bit dry, so although it's the wrong time of day to be watering them now. But yes, and I put a little greenhousey type thing over the top of my asparagus, hoping to encourage it to grow. I don't know whether it'll work. That asparagus is doing okay, but Matthew's other plants are doing pretty good. Then my blood orange. Oh, this is the comfrey. I'll take the bag off because it's probably had that on more than long enough now. It was just to protect it a little bit after I chopped it to pieces a week or so ago. So this is the one that I did the cuttings from just recently. And I took off as many roots as I possibly could and gave it a really good haircut. And it is coming back beautifully. I'll leave links to these videos down below. And I'll show you where I've put the roots for that one. I don't think I've gotten anything striking in that yet, but I'm not expecting it to. It takes a little while for the roots to start to grow. Propagating trays down here, and it actually looks like I might have something green coming up in there. Look at that! I've actually got something starting to shoot already. How exciting is that? So my comfrey actually has started to propagate already, and that's like around a week ago that I did those. These are some of my garlics as part of the Gladiator challenge of growing things from the store. My herbs are doing well here. Everything in the pots here are doing really, really well. I need to pot up this leek, those little leek seeds that have germinated on the plant. So the Okinawa spinach is doing well. This was part of the growing in the pot challenge in the Southern Hemisphere series of SHEDWARS. So my rosemary is doing well. The lettuce has bolted. My little strawberry up here has been doing well though. I think it's gotten a little bit cold. It doesn't look like, some of those top leaves aren't that happy. But it's still fruiting. My kale's doing well. Yes. And all my flowers are growing well. But again, I don't have real long stems on these. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if when you buy them in the shops, if they have something on them to encourage the plants to grow higher, and the flowers to come out higher. I just don't know. I don't know enough about growing flowers. So let's see what else is going on. And this is the boys' little aquaponics system, although it hasn't got any fish in it yet. I'm still waiting for it to cycle, although Matthew hasn't been thoroughly checking the water levels, so don't know what it's doing at the moment. But their beetroots are doing well, so it's basically just a system run on sea salt at the moment, sea salt and water. You can tell the difference between Matthew's side, which is this side, and Jonathan's side. Jonathan nearly completely ripped the roots off when he was planting them, but Jonathan's 4, so I'm really pleased that any of these are still growing. So it's his first time getting to really plant out stuff, and he's learning a lot and he's really enjoying it, and that's probably the biggest thing. But you can tell an obvious difference. These plants had their roots just about completely ripped off. Love the little darling. He's just such a cutie. But it's still growing. They haven't died. So they're doing really well. Really pleased with this, but still no fish in this system yet. Very quick look at this because I'm going to go do a full video on this because it's getting quite exciting what's happening with the stuff that I'm growing from the stores. So stay tuned to that video in coming days or weeks. So my volunteer pumpkin patch is not doing so well. It hasn't liked the couple of cold nights that we've had, although there are some pumpkins on it still, and the vine's not dead. So it may survive yet. It just depends on how many more cold nights we get, and that's really hard to actually tell. So far that I'm aware of, we've only had one day or one morning that's been down at 0. We've gotten down to 2 quite regularly, but only one down at 0. And this is my volunteer pumpkin patch. There's one of my pumpkins. Not quite ready to harvest that one yet. No, another one. Again, not quite ready to harvest. Another one, not quite ready to harvest. It's a bit tricky to find them actually. So they're in random spots around here. Tell me if you spot one. It's quite windy today too. So that's this section. Oh, there's another pumpkin. Did you see that one? So again, it's not quite ready. I want to get that green to go a little bit darker. So I've got another volunteer patch over there. Let's go check it out. So yeah, this patch isn't doing any better really. A lot of it's died off. And there's a few pumpkins here. They're not quite ready to harvest yet. Although with the vine dying back, it does make it a lot easier to find the pumpkins. There's another one over there. But as I said, the vine's not dead. And the pumpkins haven't started to go a lighter green colour yet. So I'm going to leave them a bit longer. And that one's probably close. But again, I'm going to leave it a bit longer. It's not really hurting them at all to be out here. Hopefully rodents don't find them. So I got a bit of marshmallow growing in here actually. So this is one of the areas where I had the goats for a fairly extensive period of time, which is why it looks so different to the rest of the paddock, which is fascinating to see what's coming up. Got the birds. A bit noisy at this time of the afternoon. It's quite windy today. And I've got another bale of hay that I've rolled out here. Unfortunately nothing's coming up yet. I think they're corellas. Just a lovely flock of birds. So the purpose of putting this down was just to feed the soil a little bit. And I did actually put some seeds down, although it looks like most of the seeds were actually fairly old. So they haven't come back up yet. Or they haven't come up yet. And I don't know whether they will, they may not. Most of them I actually planted up that end. And I've possibly got the hay just that little bit thick. And all I did was roll it out. I wasn't expecting quite that much hay actually. I didn't get that much out of that last couple that I rolled out. I've got a couple of spots here that I'm preparing for planting trees. A nasty little fireweed that I need to get rid of. This is a very bad plant and can cause all sorts of problems to livestock. You've got to get it out by the roots, and I've missed the roots. And I'm just going to squash that flower, because I have had them a few times even though I've pulled them out. The flowers have still sprung up seeds and blown them everywhere. So that's not sending seeds anyway. Yeah, most times I'll actually stick it straight in the bin, but I'm in the middle of a paddock at the moment, so I don't have a bin with me. Oh, that's another one. It can be really hard to spot the fireweeds, but they are a really big problem. They can actually kill your livestock. So yes, again, that one's got. So that is a fireweed. in Australia. I'm not sure what else it's called. I believe it comes from South Africa. So yeah, they've got some natural predators over there that we don't have. But as you can see, it can be really hard to see it if it hasn't got the little yellow flowers. Although I'm getting pretty good at spotting them actually. Really nasty flake bumble. Can cause all sorts of problems to livestock. Taint the milk of dairy animals. Can actually kill horses and cows if they eat enough of it. So definitely not something that you want. And at the moment this is perfect weather for it. And it blows in from neighbouring fields. Some people spray for it. I don't. It does mean that I have to come and do emu parades regularly so the kids and I come out here and pick out weeds. See us. They're very difficult to spot if they haven't got their flowers. But anyway, and to end our garden tour today, we've got the aquaponics and my 2 little bananas down there, which are doing really well. So nothing really exciting over there to see, just the bananas are doing well. And this is the aquaponics. I'm not doing a lot with it at the moment. And of course we've got Billy from the WickerShire Project here. He's guarding the aquaponics. Oh, he's a lot quieter than usual too. Anyway, he's keeping an eye on the aquaponics and my poor passion fruit vine that really need to go into pots. I've got 2 there. We've been harvesting a few snow peas each day, which is lovely. The boys are just coming out and nibbling on them. Not great for weights for SHEDWARS, but the boys are absolutely loving it, which is fantastic. Anything to encourage them to eat stuff from the garden. My pellet cuttings are doing well. I would say they've started to strike roots, which is great. They'll be ready to go out into other spots in the garden. This mulberry is starting to put on some new shoots as well. I need to get it into some soil. And my celery, of course, is doing fantastically. Absolutely fantastically. The fish are doing great. You're not going to be able to see them too well though. I'll have to get the camera out at some point and do that. The Okinawa spinach is doing well. Yep, really pleased with how the aquaponics is going. My brahmi's looking sad. I have lost my chives. I think the chives... Oh no, I haven't. Last time I looked, the chives were gone. The chives have actually come back. They were totally shaded out and they couldn't see any sunlight, so they died. So it looks like my chives are coming back, which is fantastic. I'm really pleased about that. That's a random volunteer tree. We'll just pull that out. So really pleased with that. Oh, should check on the leek from the growing stuff from the shops. That's over here. My kale's still doing well. I've been harvesting a fair bit of that. These lettuces are bolting. We've had a few hot days. That's my water chestnut. I just got 1 corm in there. But these are my leeks that I've grown from the shops. As you can see, my peppers are not doing a lot. It's not the right time of year for that. This is Lebanese watercress. So I need to take it down to the dam. This is a celery that I just chopped the top off. Actually, I broke it accidentally. And we've got some strawberries. Oh, this chart's not looking very happy. Doesn't have a great water flow happening. Probably need to check on the pump and see how it's going. See, it might have been clogged up with some leaves. And that's something you do need to keep an eye on. And because I'm not feeding the fish every day at the moment, I haven't been keeping a great eye on the pumps. So they can get covered in leaves. So yes, so the basil has pretty much died back. It has got some seeds on it though, which is great, which means it'll be able to grow back next season. Should come back nicely in spring. As I said, my celery is doing fantastically, really pleased with that. And this is the longevity spinach, which is also doing well. But that's basically the end of the tour. I do have worm farms and a few other things around the place, but that's basically what we've got going on. And I haven't shown you anything that's going on at the dam. It's okay, but I'll do that in a future video. It's getting a bit cold and I've got to milk the goats yet. So you have a great day and I'll catch up with you later. Bless you.